This is a Hot Pie Original.
Hello and welcome to the Amy Edwards Show. I'm your host, Amy Edwards. And guess what we're going to do today? That's right. We're going to make life rock even more. We're going to level up. We're going to transform in the best way possible because that's what we're here for. So excited about our guests today, Amanda and Jason Crawford. They have the company Sovereignty, which is a supplement company that I have been talking about for a while. And I'm so excited to talk to them. I learned so much and they're just modeling a beautiful way to do business and so aligned with what we're here for. So let's see, a couple business things. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't yet. We're doing 1 Minute Mondays, which are just a really quick motivational newsletter every single Monday. And I mean, it's just a quote and a little thought and just something to get you in the right frame of mind every Monday. So join for that and our regular newsletter. And also please rate, review, and subscribe. Let's get to the show. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Y'all, we talk a lot about goals and practices on this podcast, but sometimes mental health is a thing that needs to be addressed for us. And I know because I've definitely been there. I've had therapy several times throughout my life, and it has helped me get more mentally stable and get me to a place where I can really live the goals and live the practices and be just generally a happier person and in a better state of mind. So I want to tell you about BetterHelp, and that's HELP. They can assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating with them in under 48 hours. And it's not a crisis line. It's not a self-help thing. It is professional therapy that's done securely online. And they have a broad range of expertise because, you know, locally, sometimes you can't find exactly what you're looking for. So they have a huge range of services and they're available worldwide. So many people have been using BetterHelp lately too, that they're recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states, which is super cool. You can go in your account anytime, you can message your therapist anytime, and you can get quick and thoughtful responses and schedule weekly video and phone sessions. I love that they have video. So cool. So you don't have to like sit in a waiting room and wait or, you know, feel weird about that, or even just the drive time, right? It just saves you time and you get one-on-one therapy on your schedule, which is incredible. They are committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches. So they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed, which it's so hard to change therapists sometimes when you're already going and you feel like you've invested so much in telling your story. So that is a really beautiful feature. And it's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. How cool. They want you to start living a happier life today. So I encourage you to check out BetterHelp. That's HELP. You can visit their website. They have a ton of testimonials on there that are posted every single day. One that I read that I really liked was about a therapist named Jason Almerico. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It says, Jason is incredible. He's supportive and extremely thoughtful, but also holds me accountable and encourages me to really tap into what I need and want. This has been an incredible experience so far. I love that there's some accountability in there because sometimes you can get in with a therapist that doesn't hold you accountable. So you can really find someone who does. And that's badass because I know speaking for me, I need to be held accountable a lot of times. So check out their website at BetterHelp, HELP.com, and go to reviews, and they have an absolute ton, which is so good. You want a place that has a proven track record, right? So visit BetterHelp.com, HELP, and you can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And guess what? Yes, there's a special offer for listeners of the Amy Edwards Show. How cool is that? 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp. Simply go to betterhelp.com/AES for Amy Edwards Show. BetterHelp, HELP.com/AES. Okay. Let's take a second. I feel like I've been running around all day. I have been. So let's just take a second, breathe. I'm lighting something. I'm lighting some Palo Santo, which I keep in here. just going to take a breath and slow down a little bit. And I invite you to do the same. Maybe you're rushing around. Maybe you're listening to this on the go. Very common with podcasts, right? Thank you so much for being here. I'm super grateful. You're not turning up for me, though. You're really turning up for you to make life better. So today, some days I show up here and I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. Like before a show, I'm like, I've got it written now. I've got notes, Some days I kind of know, but really, I don't know that I've ever come in here before an interview and not known what I was going to talk about at all. But today I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I was just expecting a really great conversation, and they completely delivered and beyond. And which I'm so excited to share with you. It's Amanda and Jason, and my partner Justin Wren sat in too today. So extra good. So anyway, I was just expecting that, and I was kind of just flowing with it. And she said something during her, just at the end, as we were I think we were talking about their relationship. That was it. So we were talking about their relationship, and we were talking about things that she's learned having sovereignty. And so spoiler alert, but it's okay. She said, meet each other with curiosity. And that was one of the big things that she's learned. And as I thought about that, I thought that you can even take that to yourself. And I just thought about the word curiosity, and that we can meet ourselves with curiosity. And so I think that's just the one thing I want to emphasize today before we get into the conversation, is that anytime something's going on, say you can't sleep, say that your mind is racing, say that, you're stuck in a ruminating thought, say that you feel unhappy. I know we talked about happiness recently. Can you, instead of feeling just in the middle of it and invested in it, and this is all there is, this is me, can you get curious about it? And sometimes just getting curious about it, like the point that Amanda makes that you'll hear, is stepping out of it a bit and not taking it so personally. So if you're getting curious about it with yourself, can you step outside of it just a little bit and think, where is this coming from? What did I eat today? Have I been sleeping? What have I been feeding myself in my brain? If you've been feeding yourself just a bunch of like pop culture and Instagram and scrolling and news, COVID news, whatever it is, if you're on a diet of that and you're wondering why you feel this way, you can get curious and say, maybe these are contributing factors, right? Or just anything that's going on in your life. I just want to use this as an invitation to get curious about it, curious with yourself and with your own mind. And what am I doing? And what could be contributing to this? And why would I be feeling this way? Why would I not be sleeping? And I don't mean that in a negative way, like when you're like, why am I not sleeping? More like, okay, let's really look at the supplements I'm taking, the food I'm eating, the way I'm treating myself, the screen time, everything that there is, just treating it as something that you can get curious about and think about in that way, rather than beating yourself up and just feeling stuck in a negative cycle. Does that sound good? I felt good about that. Yeah. So anyway, I love you, and I love getting curious about everything. And so even if something happens to you, like for me, I've been dropping and breaking things like for the past few days, like kind of nonstop. Even this morning, I just reached in to get something. And I smashed a bowl that I actually really love. Smashed the hell out of it. And I thought, okay, maybe these are signs that something's breaking open in my life, like where can I get curious around just things that I see happening to me and just say, maybe this is a sign. Maybe you get curious about that. Like what kind of signs am I getting? I love that. All right. So let's start moving into today's conversation. I am so excited, and big thanks to Justin Wren for joining us today and sharing his light and wisdom too. We had such a fun conversation. I've known Amanda for, probably like 6 or 7 years now. I met her through a mutual friend and just always thought she was so beautiful and such a light. And I'd met Jason just briefly, but I was very surprised when they started this company, I had no idea that they were doing that. And now they've had a child and simultaneously this business child too. So they have their hands very full, but it's incredible what they're doing and the intentionality with which they live life, the intentionality in their relationship, and the intentionality that they use in their business. And I think you're going to feel really inspired. And yes, we talk a lot about the supplements and what they do with that, which I'm super curious about as a, biohacking, wanting to feel my best human, as I'm sure you are too. And so anyway, we get a lot into that, but we get so much deeper into vulnerability. And like I said, about their relationship and meeting each other with curiosity and just so much more. So I am so excited to bring you Amanda and Jason Crawford today. They used to live in Austin. Now they're living in Boise, which I learned you don't say Boise. So there you go. Take that tidbit today. So sovereignty, you can find everywhere online. Find them on Instagram at sovereignty_US. And they are online at sovereignty.co, which they've actually simplified now in case you can't spell sovereignty, which most people can't. But it's SOV.live. So anyway, and you can also find her at am_wild_woman and him at JA Crawford 2000. So again, that's sovereignty.co, SOVEREIGNTY.co. And then I do have a discount code that we mentioned in the commercials too. So you can enter Amy for 20% off your first purchase, and they give a 30-day money back guarantee too. So anyway, though, this is a bigger conversation about the power of these supplements, the power of feeling good, and your own power and your own sovereignty that comes out of it when you feel good, right? So excited to get to it today. Stick around to the end so we have a little wrap up after the conversation, the amazing conversation with Amanda and Jason Crawford of Sovereignty. We have been talking about sovereignty.co's supplements. I am a big fan of Sovereignty, and I have learned so much about this incredible company that is owned by Amanda and Jason Crawford. They started this with such good intentions to reduce stress, to make themselves be able to be their best versions, and for everyone that takes it to be their best versions. That's why we're all here. That's why I drink it too. One of my favorite products of theirs is called Purpose Plus. So Purpose is a blend of CBD, CBG, and 7 clinically studied ingredients with the world's best adaptogens to deliver results that you can feel pretty much right away, which is really, really rad. The supplement empowers and supports your mind and body to feel better, be better, and achieve new levels of productivity. But you don't just have to be productive with it. No, you can take it as a microdose. You can take it to just feel great and sit there. How rad is that? It does both. That's how good it is. It's not as if you're going to feel like, oh my God, I have to go get things done. You're not. You're going to feel calm, but you're going to feel motivated. And that is so cool. So you can use it either way because of these ingredients that are so powerful that they've blended that actually work better together. So cool. They've also got a sleep supplement, Dream Plus, which is about proper recovery. It can calm and relax your mind, put you in a calmer state to actually fall asleep better and stay asleep. They have an ingredient in there. I forget what it is. It's one of the CBD or THC derivatives, and it actually helps calm ruminating thoughts. I don't know about you, but I suffer from ruminations, and that is so beautiful. So you're able to put down your phone more easily. You're able to develop better nighttime patterns and habits just by taking this product and using the right supplements. So that's Dream Plus. It contains 5 clinically studied ingredients, CBD, CBN, and adaptogens. They heal your body and your brain from the day while you sleep, which y'all know what a sleep nerd I am. It is the key to life. So make it good. Use Dream Plus. We talked about it today. So if you're not happy with your results, they stand behind every product. They even told me that they text back to anyone that texts them about their product. Like, I guess they have a texting service with Sovereignty. And so they'll take interest in exactly your journey and what you're doing. And if you're not satisfied, which Jason even talks about, if you're not satisfied with your results, they're like, please take your money back. They understand that this stuff doesn't always work for every single person, but it's showing that it works for most people. So what do you have to lose, right? So check it out at sovereignty.co. That's SOVEREIGNTY.co. Or they've got a new website that's way easier to spell, SOV, SOV.live. You can also check them out on Instagram at sovereignty_US. And remember that for your first purchase, you can use code AMY for 20% off. That might go for, I think that's just for your first order. So I'll double check on that, but definitely go try it for your first order. Use code AMY and get 20% off at Sovereignty on Purpose Plus or Dream Plus.
No, what's kind of funny is if you look at the perspective of Amy and I next to each other, especially from this angle, if you're not watching on YouTube, you definitely should, because you're hearing this now maybe. But she always thinks we're like eye level, that she's taller than she is.
I look much
she
smaller
thinks,
than you.
yeah.
I purposefully though wanted to be not in the foreground with you.
Okay.
Yeah. I always like a little something. Would you like some?
I still
Would you like to
slurp.
cleanse with it a little
Thank
bit? Great. Good. I'm glad y'all made it. How long have you been in Austin right now?
About a week.
About a week. Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just so happy you made it in. And, it's been a while since you and I, Amanda, have talked or connected. I mean, I feel like it's been years, but we've actually known each other for years.
Yeah.
And, it was a surprise to me when you launched this company. I knew you had been into cannabis and things like that, but I'm kind of, I'd like to know your progression of how you even started this, because I don't have any idea about that. Like, it's so impressive, and it's like, it's a really nice product. And I know this is not easy to get done, and it's a very,
And it looks great.
You're over there not.
Thank you.
Jason's like, his eyes got very, yeah. So I am just curious about, your trajectory and everything, because I know this is something you're so passionate about.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it's just so great to be here with you guys.
It's so great.
I know.
Thank you.
Yes, likewise. And it's just, it's, I feel like within the last, several years when we first met and to where we are now, just so many different chapters of life have been written. And
Isn't life funny like that?
It's so funny. It's truly just been a journey. And so, I was in cannabis, working between Austin and LA for a women's cannabis company.
So like it was like a women-owned.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was called My Jane. And so we did curated cannabis boxes for women to be introduced to cannabis and CBD products. And so being in that job, my job was to actually curate and create standards for what type of products we actually used. And I was sitting there looking at all these different products. And, if it was CBD based, a lot of women weren't experiencing the effects that they were wanting. And simultaneously, my husband was actually creating Sovereignty. And I'll let you, Jason, you can share a little bit about, where you were and your inspiration for starting Sovereignty. And then I can shed maybe back in about when we had this transformational experience in Idaho.
Ooh, yeah. I love transformational experiences. Yes.
That led me to quitting my job in California and us starting to endeavor through this journey together.
So Jason, you had already started it?
I'd been working on it for a little while. Yeah.
For how long?
The concept probably started coming together about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I remember the exact moment when it occurred. We were doing some tours of dispensaries in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked through one of them called Mary's Medicinals, great company if you're in California and Colorado. I think you can get their products.
You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Just a great group. But they had a sign up there that had a reference to a cannabinoid called THCV as in Victor. And next to it, it said appetite suppressant. And I like step back and like appetite suppressant in
That
cannabis.
doesn't sound
Those
like
don't seem
weed.
to go, hand
What
in
about
hand.
the munchies?
And I grabbed the guy who was doing the tour and I said, hey, that says appetite suppressant. That can't be possible. And he goes, oh, no. There's about 100 plus cannabinoids that are in the plant and they all have these fantastic properties. We know about what 8 to 10 of them maybe do. And then we've got another 90 that we got to sort things out. So it's like, oh my gosh, that's of such high interest to me. I've
never heard that.
That's what I want to do. And so I left and started doing research on all the cannabinoids, with always a fascination on THCV, but looking at all these other ones that in real small quantities have really big impact, which is always a win in supplements because that allows you to keep your costs down, allows you to deliver a lot of value for a customer as opposed to having to put a lot of product into a supplement. So you're always looking for those. And
What were you doing before that? Was it science related or plant?
No, serial entrepreneur.
Okay. Okay.
The business that I've had the longest was insurance services, and that taught me a lot in customer service and relationships, and I take a lot from that. But I've been part of a few other businesses as well.
Cool.
The health and wellness space was just something that I wanted to be aligned with as I got into my 40s. It was crucial for me to be part of something that I was super passionate about. And I love health and wellness. I absolutely love it. Even more so, I love impacting other people's health and wellness.
Wow.
I do too.
So I've, not at the extent of some of these other big biohackers out there, but I have followed suit and kind of being a guinea pig, trying, things that are super novel to see if they can impact me. And then as I learn and find things that work well, I'll share that because a lot of people, they've got other things to do. They don't want to spend the money on the pursuits, figuring these things out. So that's really kind of the crux of the company is we wanted a platform to have where people came across our brand. One of the brand promises is that you will walk away with things that will change the trajectory of your life. We're really trying to positively.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't want a downward spiral. We want the upward.
Yeah, that's the mission. And so, as we get more sophisticated, we're going to continue to provide value-added content. And if you're crossing our brand and our supplements help you, that's great as well. But the brand promise is to, cross our path and us try to improve your health and wellness in some way.
So these are probably just the first two. You've probably mapped out a bunch more.
Yeah. We started probably one of the hardest ways you could start in the supplement business.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good, you got that out of the way.
I didn't know that was
Of
that I
course
chose
not.
the hardest path.
Yeah.
I wish
That's the way we always do that, right? And then you're like, damn it.
it's
Nobody told me. Well, what was it?
starting from scratch. So creating your own products.
But that's the best. I mean, you could private label it, but that's not as good, right? I mean, I don't.
If they're great private label products, I know a lot of friends that are getting those into people's hands and doing some really good things with people's health. So I am a supporter of that. And that's a great way to actually get in there and get your marketing dialed down, all your techniques to be able to sell product. We skipped that step. We developed our products, put all this energy into it, and had the foolish thought that a lot of entrepreneurs and CPG people have. Okay, if we build it, they will come. Not in today's digital space.
Really?
I mean, yeah. We have, we launched last April. COVID didn't help. There was a lot of noise going on.
Last April, you mean 2020?
And then,
Perfect time to launch a company.
yeah. And then rounding off into elections made marketing, all of our friends, almost came to a grinding halt because there was so much noise around the elections and things like that. So
And money behind it, right?
Tons.
I mean,
they
behind
just
it.
so you'd just be left in the shadow.
Right.
crushed on Facebook. Facebook just
Oh,
that's
wow,
where
yeah.
all the money was going to promote
Right.
the elections into.
And we're kind of trapped by marketing. Like, where else do you go?
Yep.
Right.
Where else are you going to go? Facebook, Instagram, like.
Well, I'm trying to market a CBD product on either of those platforms is impossible. We're restricted
Because they're regulating all
Yes. Yeah. So
that?
CBD
Because
products
it's not legal in all the states?
and hemp are restricted still on Facebook and Instagram.
Google,
That's fucked up.
Instagram,
Yep. It's very fucked up.
virtually most platforms don't allow it.
Well, real
I know
quick,
you-
whenever sovereignty, like the founding story, was it more to meet a need, or was it more like you were just inspired to start this thing from scratch because it was meeting your need?
Yeah.
And then you saw that it was going to change your life and change the trajectory of other lives?
I think it was a combination of both. I was super inspired that there was these set of molecules coming, to everyone, starting to come to people's attention that could do a lot of things. And I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to get it out and especially start, destigmatizing cannabis and starting to do some of the social good around that. I loved what people were doing and I wanted to be part of that. When we got out of the test kitchen, or even more so when we were in it, I started to look at what did we have access to and what could we do the greatest good with. And we narrowed in on 2 cannabinoids. When we got out of the kitchen, we had actually created a very robust supplement that wasn't solely reliant on those cannabinoids. They have an impact there, but it changed. And the influence in the test kitchen was, hey, I've got these problems that I want to solve in my life. Why don't we start there first? And that was, I've always wanted to have better cognition. Really, since my 20s, my memory's kind of gone down and I've chased everything to improve that. And then I'm trying to do a lot. And in order to do a lot, if you can get a little helping hand with nature through herbs and stuff, even better. And I noticed a lot of my friends in life, they were, working hard, playing hard and really running themselves ragged. And if there were supplements that could have supported them to do the big things that they want to do, I wanted to be part of that. Sleep, on that same note, I've always had sleep that I thought was subpar and I've wanted to improve that. And I've tried everything to get better sleep. And,
like what?
First off, every supplement under the sun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But all the natural stuff, not like,
Ambien.
Ambien, stuff like
None of that.
I had a bout with Ambien when I was 26. I was actually engaged and I called out that engagement and went into kind of a mild depression and quit sleeping. So I walk into the doctor and instead of actually being referred to a psychologist, where I ended up and where my personal growth path started, they gave me Ambien. Mm-hmm. And Ambien for me was horrific.
I've heard so many stories.
It was so bad. If for the people that it helps, I'm so glad for. But for me, oh my gosh, it was brutal. And so I shifted out of that and started to, go again down supplements and breathing techniques. And now, all the current biohacks from using Eulers and temperature control and,
he sleeps in a 56 degree cocoon, in the bed.
Yeah.
There's a weighted blanket, chili pad on top, and then there's a chili pad underneath it.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a layer that goes out and it's got a machine on the side and you can circulate cold water through it. You can also do warm water.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Now I'm I've got a chili blanket on top of me and a chili pad underneath me because I want to get that cold. I just sleep hot.
I just moved here so Amy, I'd call her probably nickname you the queen of sleep or something. We could, because she loves sleep. She protects sleep. She values it so much.
That is awesome.
And I have that chili pad.
It's the key to life.
Yeah.
And then I also went and got this fan that's a double-sided for a king bed. One can blow underneath the covers hot and the other could do cold. And I had the chili pad underneath and I had the cold AC blowing on me at 66 or something like that.
You're going to get one now.
It's really good. The only thing was I had to get a heavier blanket because it's blowing air in there and then it was kind of lifting the blanket off of me. So I had to get a big duvet to kind of keep it weighted. And but no, that's awesome. And I think what you said earlier, you said something like whenever you got around 40, things really started to shift and you really leaned into this. Amy actually made a post today on Instagram and I thought it was really beautiful. I love her story. But I'm just going to read it. Is that okay?
I just read that post.
Did you just read it?
On the way here, I was like, oh my God, yes.
Right?
So inspiring.
Yeah. So
well, that's good because, a lot of people don't take risks if they're 40 or something. I'm sure you know.
That's what this story is now. You guys taking a leap of faith in something you believe in and going out on a limb because that's where the fruit is. And but she said, for what it's worth, at 38, I picked up a guitar. At 40, I wrote my first song. At 41, my first album came out. At 46, my first book was published. You've actually wrote 2 already.
Yeah.
At 47, I started dating again for the first time in 20 plus years. Thank goodness. And at 48, I signed with a podcast network. 49, next month, the best is yet to come. That's awesome. I just have always been inspired by Amy's mindset and values of the best is yet to come. My best days aren't behind me. They're right here and now, and they're in front of me. And so I love that she's not living in regret of the past or fear of the future, but she's taught me a lot about being here now and seeing her do this show. Now I'm got the confidence. I've had people like Joe Rogan and other people like telling me for the last 9 episodes or 9 episodes in like 10 years, you got to start your own podcast.
Yeah.
Seeing Amy do it was kind of that last nudge that I needed to say, I can do this too.
Isn't it amazing to be inspired by your partner that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love to hear what you thought about making, a lot of people won't get outside that comfort zone. They won't make that shift.
Yeah.
They won't take a risk. I mean, I've even seen it with some friends around me that might have a corporate job, might have $80,000 a year or something like that. And then they say, I can't make this shift to go make a difference or do whatever it is they feel called to do or the impact they want to make because, I don't know, it's scary and they're comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
And so you have to lean and choose to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
I'll circle back around to, kind of what inspired us to go to Idaho. There was a hempcrete building workshop that was right outside of Sun Valley, a hempcrete building workshop. So besides just cannabinoids for ingestible, or topical use, I'm really fascinated by hemp as a plant in general. I think the future of building is going to be using sustainable resources like hempcrete, where they actually use hemp and not quite sure the other building material,
like concrete, but hempcrete.
Concrete. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a primary ingredient in it.
Is this English?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. What is this? Yeah. Sorry for not being clear.
No,
on that.
I'm glad. We got it.
So we went.
Hempcrete.
It was incredible. We went to this, so we had to go camp outside in the mountains at this, completely off grid campground, and we learned how to, spray apply hempcrete to a house, and we were just unplugged for 4 days. And coming out of that, we were driving back to Boise. Little did we know that we were actually going to move there. That wasn't part of it at the time. But we're driving back from Boise, and we look at each other, and we're just like, what life are we living right now? We have a beautiful home in Westlake, that's right on the water and incredible, but we feel trapped. We don't feel as happy as the last 4 days. Yeah, it was just so wild. It hit me. Yeah, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I looked at Jason and I was like, what if we sell the Westlake house? What if I quit my job in LA? And we were missing each other. Being our love language is quality time. And that was cut in half with going back and forth. And I was like, and what if I join you on Sovereignty and we take it on the road? We buy an RV. We've been RVers before. I think a great test to any relationship.
Oh, I have no doubt.
is living in an RV together, add 2 dogs, see how that goes.
Wow.
But, we had a hoot doing that and we were just like, why don't we do it again? And so next thing we knew, our plan was, and starting on Valentine's Day, we left Austin 2020 to, go start our promotional tour with Sovereignty and, sold our house on the road 2 weeks before COVID. And then 2 weeks before we actually launched our company. And, our family motto over the last couple of years has been leap and the net will appear. And, that's just, and, I do drive a lot of, I find a lot of my motivation, a lot of my inspiration in Jason, and he is the ultimate risk taker. I'm a little bit more reserved, which I think is great. Balance is, needed, but, we just really embraced this kind of family motto and, and to help people heal, and to, open up this new journey for a growth path that maybe you didn't think was possible. But, isn't that part of the journey, right? Where it's just, you never know what's going to come. But at the end of the day, just reflecting back, gosh, we get to tell a cool story. And so that's kind of what this, at least 2 years have been was, the shedding of what we thought was going to be the rest of our lives, which is living in this beautiful Westlake home that we tore down and we built together from the ground up.
And I went to it. It was amazing.
It's a great house.
So crystals in the walls. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Biohacking to the next level. Again, inspiration coming from
That was you
from
that did
Jason.
that?
Yeah.
It was really cool. Cause I was like, why does this place have such good energy? And you were like, there's crystals in the walls. And I was like, this was before I knew much about crystals at all. And I was like, what? You can do that?
Biohacking, right?
Yeah.
You know, we had copper shielding in the house and crystals, and this is all work that
Not
you know
cool.
Jason
Yes,
researches and just gets inspired to do. And he's just again my inspiration. Like
He's doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's out there doing it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I wonder, you said something about, we're going to have a really cool story.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are writing your own story now. And I think that that's all of our right, sovereignty, and is to write your own story.
Mm-hmm.
And to do it together like you guys are doing and like Amy and I get to do. But what is it that you see that you could almost help? I don't know. I've heard a term lately. Someone said, break out of the matrix, like so many people are living a life that they're being told to live, or that someone else is writing the story for them, whether it's their own family or a university or conditioning from childhood or just their corporate business says you'll step up the ladder this way. This is what you got to do. And so people get stuck. They get stuck living a different story than what they ever intended to live.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys are doing it. And what would maybe Jason, Amanda saying you're her inspiration, what would you say to someone that's thinking they want to take a leap and see the net appear? But what would you kind of just tell them or tell me or tell anyone?
Yeah. I think it comes down to a core fundamental belief that we had to learn. This was practice, we weren't born with this, but that we can manifest our own outcomes. And part of more easily manifesting outcomes is being aligned with what you're doing. Otherwise, you set this intention and you're trying to manifest this outcome and you're not getting it. You're trying to understand, why is there so much friction? Oftentimes that's a perfect opportunity to step back and think, or am I aligned with, what I'm doing? And if you believe that you can manifest outcomes, that, believe in a net will appear, and you're aligned with what you're doing, we have found when we embrace that, and we do now to our core, it doesn't always happen on the time frame that we think, because time is somewhat of an illusion. But it does end up happening. And so you've got to. I definitely would encourage someone to have a core belief in themselves and a core belief that they can manifest an outcome. I don't have exact science and the steps laid out, but we built that foundation, and then every morning made sure we were doing just that. That's every time we both kind of wake up our son, but whenever I wake him up, I take him out and there's a sign right in front of outside of his door that says "Leap a net and a net will appear," and we go and high five that sign, kind of like
cute.
Football players do, or anyone who's really getting ready for something and want to have that core belief. So, and again, that's just help programming the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind that this is true, this is a reality. If we do this, great things will come. So the being stuck, I've been in many times in my life, I've been stuck. And that's one thing that we've also been trying to accumulate knowledge on, where we want to help people get unstuck. And again, that wanted to be one of the voices of the Sovereignty brand, is that you can get unstuck, that you can take these leaps of faith. If we're an example of that you can use, or we'll try to bring some other examples to people's attention, let them use that as an example and as inspiration. But that's crucial for us, because we too find that so many people are, and they just don't understand their unique ability and the value that they bring to this earth. And sometimes it's not in that box, but stepping out of it, it's scary.
It is.
I love how you just said that. Yeah, it is hard. I love how you just said that there's or can be for sure. Yeah. If you don't have that big purpose or those little reminders and cues, things to go back to and be like, no, this is why, this is my encouragement, this is my determination, this is why I'm committed to this. I love that. So what the name Sovereignty?
That's did you see me underline that? I know. I want to know if that's where it came from, like because of feeling like that. Is that what you're going to?
Yeah, I was going to say, for you, whenever you named it Sovereignty, the meaning, the reason behind it, and is it a reminder to you and others that And so what does sovereignty mean to you
That word
guys?
has kind of taken off in the last few years too.
It really has. Well, I would say actually, especially in the last, year and a half.
Yes, I feel like
I never really heard it until
Me
we
either.
started dating.
well, we were in this community of, people that were very spiritually minded, and they use that a lot.
Yeah, and I still don't. I think you guys are about to teach me exactly what it means, so that's why I'm excited.
Well, I mean, I think,
Who came up with the name?
It was both of us with a group of, we had a personal assistant at the time. She came in for this. We had a couple advisors already slated for sovereignty, and we had a giant branding meeting to, find who we were, what was our ethos, and when this name sovereignty was presented, we all just felt a massive connection to that, because at the end of the day, that's what we want our products to help you find is your own sovereignty of your body, your mind, and your spirit.
Does that mean like taking back your power or your own personal power or what?
Yes,
sovereignty?
exactly.
Taking it back and also just rising above it. Realize that this body, this mind, this job, that we can be sovereign of those. And as we step into that, the ability to accomplish virtually anything is there. And so that's when I saw the name on the list, when we were kind of going through, I was like, oh, funny enough, over the past 10 years, I'm trying to be sovereign of my mind and body. I'm trying to do, things. I don't want those things to limit me. And so I've been trying to do all this training to almost going to, in a sense, be limitless in that stance. And sovereignty just rang that bell. Like, gosh, if we could communicate that, again, the material that we bring or the inspiration that we bring or the products that we bring to someone's life that can help them do that, then that's what we want to resonate with people. So that's why it just, we had a few on there and we kept going back to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we were trying to communicate simply, but it doesn't exactly tell what the products are or anything. And some people that's how they accelerate. And CPG is it's really clear, but we're trying to be clear that we're on a broader mission than just selling somebody a supplement, that we're really trying to, again, change the trajectory of people's lives, and sovereignty just kept telling that story with us. So
yeah, well,
Even though it's a little hard to spell.
Yeah,
sure.
I've got it down now.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've spelled it out enough times.
we had to go by all the misspellings because
There's
we
a
still
lot
misspell
of
it.
them.
I
There's
bet
a
you
lot
did.
of them.
It's just so easy to do.
we got the package of Dream in front of us. It's beautiful packaging, but I guess this is the one I took from last night. It's in my pocket.
Love that.
But it's CBN in here, right? That helps you fall asleep better.
That's
Yeah.
the lead cannabinoid in that one.
And then this is called Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep like you mean it. Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it last night, and I had like 3 or 4 packets another week, and then kind of we traveled everything else, and I found one more last night, and I had it, and man, it helped me get into a restful place super quick.
Beautiful.
Love to hear
And
that.
CBN, am I correct on this, that you can find that mostly in indica strands of cannabis, where that's the one that kind of helps you more, body relax, sleepy.
Yeah. So CBN is a sedative cannabinoid. It's generally regarded as more sedative than THC. It's actually the degradation of THC. So if you're finding it in the plant, it's because THC was present and it degraded into CBN. And over time, that's for long times, people would notice when they had cannabis sitting around for a long time, let's call it a year, they would utilize it some form or fashion, and they would think that, oh my gosh, this is either an indica or it's super, real sleepy strain. It's not. It's just the THC has changed over time. And so, the things that make cannabis sleepy or energetic is both terpenes and then your cannabinoid profile. And if you've got CBN in there, rest assured, it's going to be a more sleepy kind of sedative experience. I got fascinated by that cannabinoid, and then we built something around it. One thing that we were going for with Dream that not a lot of other sleep products really focus on is really relaxing the body. And we put heavy hitting herbs in there to really relax the body. So if you take this an hour in advance, most people report back, holy cow, I felt really calm. And that's a great place to enter the sleep space.
Yeah.
Is calm. And
because most people have a restless mind, or a lot of people struggle with that.
Me included.
And are still staring
Yes.
at a screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. We can't combat, we like to say we can't combat bad sleep habits, but we can help you get to the point where you do feel relaxed and calm enough to maybe start mitigating some of those habits.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So you have more of a motivation to like rest and relax and maybe pick up a book instead of pick up your phone, and we try to develop content as well to go along with that, to kind of inspire people to start trying some other things besides holding their phone, right before they close their eyes.
Yeah.
Because
Amy can probably say I fall asleep pretty quick. A lot of times when I'm not on my phone. And, the only time I really see myself, really going over things in my mind over and over and over while I'm trying to get to sleep is normally fight week. Whenever I'm going into a fight. And the night before, I sleep like a baby almost every time.
Amazing.
Interesting.
But the nights leading up to it, I want to think about it, dream about it, visualize it before I go to bed, dream about it, and then visualize it right when I wake up. But having this as a tool, I think would, especially from the experience of it last night, I think would be pretty cool on fight week. There's GABA in here too. I used to take a thing called Somatomex, which was a product back in the day. A lot of fighters, grapplers, I think bodybuilders would use it, but it was really good for recovery as well, I believe. I don't know much about it, but since it's in your product, I thought you could share a little bit about what GABA is and what it does.
It's one of the calming ingredients that we have in there. And
I seem like I get more dreams when I have that.
Yep.
Well, it quiets down a part of your brain that has the ruminating thoughts.
Okay.
And so that's what brings a little bit of, added calm and peace to like your mind before going to sleep. That's basically what I know about it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's what we suffer from.
I used to take something called GABA Calm.
I say we, meaning everyone.
Well, and that's, another thing that we like to say is, we're here to help you get over common human problems, right? Because we all have these problems, but we're also here to empower you to become that change maker that you want to be in the world. And, it's hard sometimes to not be able to find your own sovereignty if you don't have the energy that you want to have to, get the shit done that needs to get done, And so that's part of the reason we call our energy and focus supplement Purpose, because we want it to help you drive your purpose, not just tick off your to-dos, but it's take care of what you need to get done and then be able to dream big.
Well, yeah, because you encourage people to find an intention as soon it's on the box. It's like, think of your intention, put it in the water. And I was told about a study, not a study, but actually a exercise that people can do where they can speak their intention into water or whatever they're drinking, and then can have even a full psychedelic experience. Essentially, they can infuse it with so much and then drink it and have an overwhelming experience. So, I'm
here for that.
Love that. I know. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And I loved that you were so intentional about it. And you do it on Dream too. It says set intention, pour, stir, drink. And I think that's missing from a lot of things that we do. Even my supplements that I take every day, I don't set an intention with those. Maybe I should. Do you set an intention with those kind of things?
All the time with Purpose and with Dream
with
too.
Purpose, but do you do it with your vitamins and stuff too?
No.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
Without a doubt.
I think
maybe I need to infuse those with some thought.
Well, right. Just taking a moment to be mindful, and to, give appreciation. I used to do this with my food a lot.
You can do it with food.
Right. Like I would hold an avocado. I had so much flack because I posted a video about it on Instagram a while back.
What happened?
I was holding an avocado and I was holding it to my heart and I was giving gratitude, and every time I still do it a lot when I eat meat, but I ask the animal to, join me in spirit and to, continue to live its life through me. And, and I swear I feel so much better after I eat the food, and it's just trying to get present with something that you're about to ingest, into your body. And yeah.
Some of the coolest meals I've ever had were in the Congo Basin rainforest or in Uganda. And it was after a hunt, where the pygmy people, hunter-gatherers, 4'7" on average, but just master hunters. I mean, 2-year-olds or even before that, they're before they can walk, they have a bow and arrow in their hands.
Wow.
And the way that they thank the land, and they only take what they need.
That's awesome.
But I think what you are really tapping into was intention behind it, intention and being grateful. You know, people that pray before their meals or thank the animal and invite it in to live through you. But I think that everything we do, me being a fighter, you go back to that, like you want to have intention behind your movements, right? Whether it's the distance and the range and getting out of their punches, there's an intention not to get hurt, but then there's maybe some more intentions behind a punch or a move and your position before submission. And so there's all these moments in our life where we can put intention. You and I, before the show, were talking about how public speaking and things like that makes me nervous. But I think the times that I almost at set and setting, whenever I go internally and say, what is my intention before I get up here? And it's like to share my story authentically and to put love and compassion in action. You know, if I can do that, I can walk out of there holding my head high, you know, chest back, heart forward, or shoulders back. But it just, I think that intention changes everything, you know, and we're not aware of it enough. And so for you guys to do that with a product, like purpose, the name, there's intention behind it and setting an intention when you take it. I mean, I think that's a good practice.
It is.
For anybody.
Yeah. As I started this podcast, I was like figuring out what I was going to do with it. And I said this in, I think, my first episode, but I realized like all the other podcasts I had done, I really hadn't been intentional. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why? You know, like we go through life so many times without being intentional, even in our sleep. I mean, and we have that power. So why are we not harnessing it? So this is a good message.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, and I think bringing intention into your relationships too, like how, you know,
tell me more.
Just Jason and I have spent, I mean, we were in counseling from like 3 months of dating, you know, where a lot of people will say, oh, well, that means there's a problem, right?
You go before is what I hear.
You go before.
Let's go.
All preventative.
All preventative, you know, but it's like
wellness.
Prophylactic.
Empowering, yeah.
But and so we do that for our wellness by taking vitamin D or vitamin C, you know, or what, you know, these vitamins, these supplements, you know, but when you take a step back to say, why am I not approaching my relationship that way? You know, that was something that we decided to do differently from the get-go, you know, and again, we had people look at us and they're like, well, there must be something wrong. Like, you guys shouldn't be together. It's only 3 months in. Like, you should be in the honeymoon phase. But we got so much out of that experience. And it's just, you know, it's kind of been our modus operandi, like moving throughout our relationship between, you know, doing journey work together with, you know, plant medicines and Tony Robbins. And, you know, we went to Canada for like off and on for 2 years, taking these NLP courses, you know, to like just really.
What's an NLP course?
Neuro-linguistic programming, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And what is that for people who don't know that might be listening like me?
Do you want to tackle that one?
I haven't thought of like the simple definition in a long time.
Hold on. Before you say that too, though, I was kind of imagining how that conversation went. I guess y'all were already so aligned, but you're like, yeah, we should go to counseling. We should, honey. You know, you're like, that's a great idea. Like,
which is basically how it went down, you know, and it was so foreign to me of like being in union with somebody who was just like, yeah, let's grow. Like, I'm down for it. Let's go through the sticky, you know, and
Isn't that just game changing, life changing being with that? Like, I am so grateful
Me too.
To have Amy, you know, be by my side, and she's just growing.
I loved watching you guys. It's so
I love
cute.
watching her.
It's so cool.
I love watching her, and it's so inspiring to me I got to keep up. I got to keep up, and it's really encouraging to be like, you know, and we help each other. And anyways, it's really awesome. I mean, I do beat her at the ice baths. I do more ice baths than she does,
totally
but she definitely does more prayer and meditation. I'm competitive. I got to find something.
Ice bath department.
Oh man,
just kidding.
Yeah.
How are you living and what are you wearing? My guess is if you're anything like me, you want to be really comfortable, but still look really good. Yes. And part of being comfortable is having fabrics that feel good. So that is why I love Good Life clothing. Good Life is American made from the finest, highest quality materials available. And their core collection of premium essentials keeps you looking good and feeling great. And it's so cute. When I was up at the store, Natalie here from Hot Pie tried on just the cutest shorts outfit with like this little croppy sweatshirt. so adorable. And their colors are really fresh too, which they always have new ones coming out. So anyway, as I said, they did just open a store here in the Domain North side in Austin, but they have a great shop online as well. So you can stop by in real life, or you can go to their store online at goodlifeclothing.com. I'd messed that up and goodlifeclothing.com. There it is. And you can just enter my code Amy20 and get 20% off your entire purchase. And that works in the store too. Amy20, AMY20. The code is valid on your entire order at goodlifeclothing.com. So elevate your game with Good Life. All right. So NLP. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Neurolinguistic programming is an overarching concept that we can program our subconscious mind. And that is done often in speech, both internal dialogue and external dialogue. So what people don't realize, a lot of things that we say, you're sitting here telling your subconscious mind that it's taking that in.
I preach this all the time on the show.
And so neurolinguistic programming just says we can do something about that.
Yeah.
In a real positive way, we can consistently send the right messages so that when your unconscious mind has to figure out what am I to do with this information, it's programmed to say, oh yeah, I know what to do with it. We're going to do this positive, thing, or this, we're going to have this kind of behavior come from that. And so it's just a practice of doing that. It's been around for a while. NLP actually started when the two founders went and looked at all the best psychology around the world. And they picked the best and easiest tools to use and put them all together. And that's what a lot of NLP is. And then later on down the path, some people have taken that and grown some big names around it, like Tony Robbins and some people like that. So it very, very impactful. It's embedded in a lot of things that we already do. If you read Think and Grow Rich and you're reminding yourself again that you with affirmations. or even gratitude,
I do
giving yourself gratitude all the time is actually putting yourself in this beautiful state that and your mind responds to that.
Yeah. I mean, I will catch even my friends, like we were with Adam the other day and he was on whenever this is airing, the week before, I think. And yeah, he was like, I'm so bad with the names. And I was like, I know he already is one of these is like into that. And I was like, okay, well now you're saying that. So you're just continuing to program it. So cut that shit out.
Yep.
Right. And so he was like, great, I'm great with names. I was like, there you go. Just say it. Just say it.
Try it out for 90 days and see what happens.
Right. Try it as an experiment.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier on people getting stuck. If I walk around all the time saying that I'm scared of this or I'm fearful of this.
Or I'm stuck even.
And then that idea comes in, an opportunity comes to public speak or something like that. The filter says, oh, no, I'm afraid of that. I'm scared of that. But before you even consciously think about it. So we have to start changing that. And it's a process and it takes a while, but it works.
I was talking with my barber when I got my beard trimmed this morning, and his name's Bob the Barber. Shout out. He's in Austin. He's awesome.
You did a great job.
Your beard looks great too. Everyone tune into YouTube and check out Justin.
He's such an awesome guy, but I've shared my story with him a couple times, and he was asking about the genesis of Fight for the Forgotten. I told him I had a sober vision. I was 10 months sober, and it was more real than any psychedelic experience I had ever had in my life. And then he goes, but what do you tell the average Joe who can't have that? And he said it in a really cool way. He's pretty tapped in, but when he said that, he goes, what if they tell you, haven't you heard, well, I won't ever experience that. I can't ever experience that. That won't happen to me. And I go, well, then I try to point it out, like Amy sometimes points out, reframing to me. Hey, how about you reframe that?
Or just reprogram those little things that you're saying to yourself.
And I'll say, they're not going to have them if they say they're not going to have them. And
whatever you say, you're right, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they say? There's some saying about that, isn't it? Whatever you believe, you're right.
So on that, the NLP stuff you guys just said, yes. You guys just said, we're going to go do this. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Jason had a conversation with a friend of his in Austin who was this, incredible entrepreneur, and it was kind of a mentor to Jason. And, they chatted, and Jason asked him, hey, what are you doing to take your life just to the next level? And he introduced us to this coach, Gina Mollicum-Long, shout out to her, out of Canada. And so Jason and I both began working with her, shortly after that. And and had these massive breakthrough sessions with her and then started going to her trainings. And it was just amazing to develop, part of the reason I loved the work so much was to develop a common language with each other that we could understand, when we're pushing each other to kind of be the best versions of ourselves, we had a common language, where it wasn't critical, it wasn't attacking the other person, but it was like, hey, let's talk about our values. Let's go back to what we have decided we're going to create together. And, you have the opportunity to create whatever it is that you want. And to be able to be on the same page, has been game changing, for our relationship, especially after having a kid and living in an RV together.
Yeah.
You guys still live in the RV with a child?
No, we don't.
Oh,
we don't now, but we considered it. If we gotten Tiffin to call us back to build our new RV, we would be.
But if one person, at least Amy and I believe we've had probably relationships like this where one person is on that page, one person isn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's a slight, there's going to be varying degrees, but if one person's all in and one person's all out, I mean, that can be deflating to both people, right? And so I think that's beautiful that you guys did this together.
You have to want to grow together or you're just going to grow apart probably.
Yep.
One of the saddest things I hear, from a lot of my friends is I can't get my husband to go to therapy. I think therapy would be really helpful. And I actually had this conversation with a girlfriend the other day and I said, present it to him like it's biohacking. It's biohacking your emotions. It's you're figuring out the best practices to optimize your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was like, if that doesn't work, then, you guys need to check in on your values, as a couple together. But that's something I hear time and time again. And, being able to find a partner who is open to, doing all the crazy work and pushed for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like you didn't have to go like, we should do. He was like, oh, I was just thinking that. Or something.
I was just thinking that, or, hey, this is something I want to do, but do you have an interest in doing this with me? And it was always a hell yes for me. Like, and so, I mean, that's all of that, coming to today is really what we've brought all of that into sovereignty, and all of that intention setting, all of that, trying to help people, reprogram, or just achieve what they want to achieve, on an everyday level. And
what are some of the biggest things that you've learned, through this process?
That's a great question.
Up to today, it doesn't even have to be for sovereignty, but I know that's going to be a part of it. How could it not? In your relationship and everything.
Meet each other with curiosity.
I like that.
It's coming to the table with, hey, I'm going to make a prejudgment that I think I know where you're coming from. But that's not really the case. It's if we get off on on a bad foot or whatever it is, or we're having an uncomfortable conversation, how can we try to look at it from the other person's perspective? And by doing that, just embracing curiosity. Another one of my favorite tips that is just so easy is we do, two. So one that's not as easy is we do something called a hard truth, which is, and I combine it with another tool that we learn is if you think about something 3 times and you haven't talked to your partner about it, talk to your partner about it.
Ooh.
Like, it's just
Great idea.
Yeah, like it's a great kind
It's
of
coming
like
back up for a reason.
Right. Exactly. And so you need to address it.
She's already thought of 3 things. She's thought of 3 times each.
She's like, here's the list. And
she's taking notes.
I see that. I love it. And the other one is, a hard truth, which is coming to your partner in a vulnerable place and saying like, hey, I've got a hard truth. This is something that I don't really want to talk to you about, but therefore I know I have to talk to you about it. And I'm nervous. And, you state the emotions, like I'm nervous, I'm anxious, about how you're going to take this, but can you just hold some space for me right now and for us to have a quick conversation? And our coach actually, we had a list of tasks that we had to do every day for 42 days straight. And it was like a list of 20 things.
Whoa.
So we did it for 2 years because we would miss a day.
What was on the list?
Hard truths every day. power affirmations,
Projection process,
heart math for 15 minutes a day, or meditation for 15 minutes a day. We had a series of books and videos and all the stuff that we had to read and watch.
Wow.
And, Jason and I, we would do them together, in the morning, and you had to do it in the morning and in the evening. And,
Wow.
but sometimes we like to party and we'd forget in the evening, and then we'd have to start all over again. So if you missed one day, you had to start your 42 days all over again. So it took us 2 years, but we got really good at, doing hard truths. And, Jason does heart math still every single morning. I do it when I'm not still sleeping.
I don't know what
I've
that
heard
means.
of heart math, but I don't know what it is exactly.
Tell me.
Heart math is basically a practice of getting into coherence. And
Okay.
when we're in coherence, which you can actually measure through biofeedback, which is the heart math platform.
Yes.
Your body is in a positive state. You're actually creating DHEA instead of cortisol.
Nice.
And a lot of us are running around creating cortisol all the time, monkey mind, and thinking about, this and that. When you're in that positive state, it's linking. What happens is you're linking emotions, your mind, and your heart. And that is clinically measurable, and it is one of the most powerful states you can be in. Most people also refer to as flow state, but from
Joe Dispenza talks a lot about that. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
and it's amazing. It's a fantastic practice, so we use that a lot.
What's the practice?
You hook up to a heart math device, and then you close your eyes. You breathe more slowly than you would, or you can have a meter that you follow, and then you start thinking about exalted emotions. So gratitude, love.
When you think about those exalted emotions, are you thinking about things that you love and things you are grateful for? Or you just think love?
It's
gratitude.
Whatever it takes you to get there.
Okay.
And they both work. A lot of times it's hard just to think about love at first, and all of a sudden that creates that connection. So when you start thinking about the person or something that you love, all of a sudden you start making those connections, and then you maybe someday can gravitate to only love, but it doesn't matter as long as you're getting the result that you're looking for.
The reason that came to me was Amy had an incredible guest, one of our friends, Serena Dyer, and her dad was Dr. Wayne Dyer. And she shared an incredible story about some things that accusations, a legal process against her husband, all this stuff that went on for years, that he was eventually I forget how you say it. It was
I think
all
he was
dropped
exonerated
and
recently.
exonerated, yeah. But how she watched him while she wanted to defend him, and how much it took out of her, how she watched him send them love, the prosecutors,
So awesome.
the everyone that he could, and how powerful that was to send them love. And so I'm thinking about that love, and then even deepening it from there. But if you can just get there from just thinking the word love, like, cool, that's awesome.
You can. And there's a practice called, I might pronounce it incorrectly, but Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. We
And
did discuss that with her.
The studies, the case study on that one was just mind blowing. And then to watch, go to various conferences and then to start to use that and to realize this is super powerful. And then we do it back and forth to each other.
Meaning like sitting and staring at each other, and you do it back and forth?
Yeah, we've done that before.
Do you say it out loud, or do you say it in your mind?
In Hawaii, I forgot if he was the warden. He took over this prison.
Yes.
that had a lot of
Wow.
problems.
Serena shared that story.
She did.
And so
She shared that
there's
here.
4 words. I always forget the order, but it's
I don't think it matters.
I think it's some.
Right.
I love you.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love you.
Yeah. And all he did was do that to the files, and all of a sudden the prison started shifting. Same thing, same output that Mr. Dyer was getting, and he was sending that love out, and good things were occurring. So we do that to each other as part of our forgiveness practice, and and love practice, and everything else, especially if there was a hard time.
If we're really mad at each other, like
Oh, really? Ooh,
yes.
tell me.
I mean, if we're in like the heat of things, usually it gets to a point where we're saying things that, of course we don't really mean, and it's coming from our own individual wounded spots. But, if one of us will usually catch it, and it's like, okay, let's break for, just a minute. We're not in a state where we're, talking to each other clearly, and we'll stop and we'll look at each other and we'll just do Ho'oponopono to each other and say, thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please
like
forgive
staring
me.
at each other
Staring
out loud.
At each other out
That's
loud.
what I
I go, he goes, I go. And
nice.
And
Our body, like, it
everything
can't not
changes.
respond. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in a
Yeah.
better place now to start
I
looking
haven't
through
heard
this.
of that, doing it together as a
we learned it at the Tony Robbins relationship conference. He
sounds good.
And you
Yeah.
just have to stare in their eyes and do it. You know, we practiced it probably 30, 40 times. And
Yeah.
sometimes at the start of the day, they're like, okay, time to get up and look at your
it
partner
was
and
like
do this.
15 minutes. They would just
And-
make you like sit there and stare, and you're like,
It was
okay.
uncomfortable.
It was, but then at the end, you love each other
It's
so much.
so amazing.
Well, the first time I ever did it, I had a really powerful experience. So I probably won't get into it all, but I will share that I've lost several friends this year, and
Sorry to hear that.
they died by suicide. And the day of one of their funerals, with his parents were like my second parents. And anyways, I had 3 of our friends who I met either with or through Amy call me the day before the funeral. And each time I was on the balcony looking out at the hospital where he was needing his 4th kidney transplant, my friend Marquise. And each time they called me, I told them Marquise's story and how incredible of a man he was. How I told him a miracle story of how Jim, his father's best friend, Paul, said, I'm going to give Marquise, your son, adopted son, but your son, my kidney. And the doctor's like, no, that's not going to happen. And it did happen.
Wow.
It was a match after some miraculous things of like thoughts, intentions, prayers, him walking around that hospital every day for like more than a year, praying that he could give him that kidney. First was denied, then was able to do it. This is in a book. I mean, it's an incredible story. But my friend Raj, Sarah called me, Brian called me, and then Raj. And whenever Raj called me, all of a sudden he told me about try the Ho'oponopono. There we go. However we say it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I tried it, and it was right before I went to bed. And I came out of this pretty powerful vision after I did it for like a 30-minute thing. He sent me a meditation on it. And I basically just saw Marquise in heaven or celebrating. And that's what the message was that he was celebrating. I saw angels. They like came up and touched my heart and my head and put me at peace and rest. And I was able to go that morning and go to breakfast with Jim and Susan. And I was able to read them everything I wrote from the vision, which was more than I could ever say or explain ever. And it was so good, so great, so amazing. But the thing that I saw was he was celebrating. He was dancing like a champ. His hands were up and he had dreadlocks. I never knew Marquise with dreadlocks. I knew him for 9 years. And the thing that was crazy was I told them the whole thing, and then I go, and Marquise, he has dreadlocks. Man, that got him. That got Jim and Susan, because his happiest, his healthiest was whenever he was a little younger. I mean, because he had 3 kidney transplants, was needing a 4th, but he had dreadlocks then.
No.
The picture that was on do you remember at his funeral? You were there with me.
Yeah.
He had long dreadlocks.
Wow.
That was the picture they chose for his funeral, his memorial. And so anyways, I think that there is a lot more power than what we think and how we think and what we think about. And so I'm really grateful with you guys sharing all this with us, because it's a good reminder for me that, man, to bring it back to sovereignty and purpose, what would be the ideal dream, maybe guest or client experience, customer experience for someone using purpose? Like, I think about me being a fighter, and I'm making a comeback to fighting, and I like to go into a float tank before, and I like to journal like for maybe 30 minutes before I get in there, or just visualize, maybe watch even fight film of my opponent. And then I like to get into the float tank, float for 90 minutes normally. 60 minutes, I feel like I start getting in the flow maybe at like 45, 50 minutes or something. Sometimes I get into it quicker, but I need 90 minutes, even 2 hours. But I mean, a purpose, I think I could use that for is like before I go in the float tank.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Purpose is interesting because a lot of people, ourselves included, report kind of this euphoric feeling, both in mood and body. So you kind of feel lighter.
And what are the ingredients again? Or
Purpose?
Yeah.
It's a long list of ingredients.
Okay.
There's 7 clinically studied ingredients, and there we use KSM 66 ashwagandha. We use a clinically studied L-theanine. There's we've got amla in there, bacopa, CBD, CBG, which is kind of known as to be this mood enhancing cannabinoid.
Mm-hmm. And then some proprietary blends, Neurofactor,
S7.
Some of the ones that do, we don't know exactly what creates this outside of synergy. And that was the cool thing about spending some time in the cannabis industry is we're learning that the synergy is greater sometimes than the individual in molecules specifically. And so, a lot of pharmaceuticals are built around isolating a molecule, and it does a real specific thing for very specific receptors. And then on the cannabis side, when we look at why some of the medicinal aspects come, it's because of this broad range of ingredients that are in there, and synergistically they work well, sometimes in a way that's hard to explain. When we put our ingredients together, we kind of notice that exact same thing. There is a foundation. We revise these formulas to have the crux of this Ayurvedic wellness tonic, and that's ashwagandha, bacopa, and amla. Amla helps get the liver going. Bacopa gets the brain and mind going. And then ashwagandha is an adaptogen that helps lower your stress levels. So, and anytime you lower stress, everything works better no matter what.
How stressed are you?
I run pretty
On a scale.
pretty stressed out.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have to keep it in check.
Yeah, I run.
There's a reason we've done all of these things.
Here's the real reason, finally.
Yeah.
I'm just always go. I'm just go.
Yeah.
And I need to slow down and stop and smell the roses. And I do way more now than I used to, but I've trained my nervous system to be in the sympathetic. So I'm in fight or flight almost from the morning, or when I wake up, I'm pulling off of that. And then the supplements help me too. But I have to check that because last year I let it go unchecked and I got shingles, and I'm pretty young. People get it when they're young, and it's normally manifested through extreme stress.
You get it too?
I've had it 5 times.
5 times.
I've had it 5 times and I'm 34. But the reason was I got it in Africa, living there for built up over 2 years now, in the last 10 years. And just my body was so stressed from malaria, poor diet, lots of different intestinal bacteria and amoebas, all that stuff. And it's shingles is one of the most brutal pains because it's a different type of pain. It's like a nerve pain. Mm-hmm. I've had broken arms, other stuff. This one, like you just can't do anything for it. You can't ice it. Mm-hmm. You can't put a cream on it that really touches it. You just have to weather the storm through like just gutting it out.
It was really sad when he got shingles. It was 5 days after our son was born.
Oh, wow.
Hold on, because of chicken pox.
Right? It was right around 2 weeks. So I got 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And I was in this rhythm of supporting her and holding the baby and supporting the baby. And all of a sudden, all these precautions, had to be put in place.
You can give a baby chicken pox, right? If you have shingles,
if you have active shingles,
it's like chicken pox coming back out of your body. But it's in shingle form.
Okay. Yeah, I knew they were related, but
And I guess I could have given it to my mom. She hadn't had chicken pox as a kid either. And so she, we were having to stay away, be careful with grandparents, had to be careful with my kid. It was a mess. And it just goes back to we can stress our body to cortisol, real serious illnesses. And we've got to be in front of that. That's how we're going to extend our quality of life and live a more fulfilled life, is getting in front of these stressors, both environmental and mental. And we're here to assist with that. And that one part of both of the formulas is actually that purpose. It gives people energy and better cognition, but not at the expense of their body.
Yeah.
We actually have more people report calmness, but feeling energy and clear, as opposed to going and taking, some of the other energy products that are out there or off the shelf. Yeah.
And then,
You're just losing it, and then, too much of some of those has adrenal impact. And we made sure we offset all of that and really left people in a great place. So
what'd you do? Were you surprised, first of all, or were you like, oh, Yep. I've been stressed out.
When you got shingles.
When you got shingles.
When I got it.
Yeah. And then what'd you do?
Blown away.
You were blown away.
It was a total sign from the universe to slow down. And I had my child in front of me, and that's what, and my wife who's recovering. Those were the most important things, not the stuff that was in my mind that manifested this. And I'm so glad it happened when it did. And it was one of those other big shift moments. Like I will, this is a warning.
Yeah.
The other things you don't get to necessarily walk away from. That was a great warning, because if you're that stressed out, your heart's taking a beating, your organs are probably taking a beating. There's all these things that are in a declined state. And so it was another wake up call. And I've had a couple of them, and that's why I got so interested in wellness and in general. So, yeah, a lot of change after that. And that's why we ended up moving to Boise. We, wanted a little bit of a slower pace. We wanted to spend more time in nature. Nature has just done wonders for me. And Austin's a really good place for that. And Boise is even better, just because you're right there, and it's amazing. So
Austin still has a pace of life that I know a lot of people have gotten caught up with. And I've seen people over the years left.
It's beautiful.
No, I haven't. I would love to go.
We should go sometime.
Come on, be there.
Yeah,
come on. Anytime. We'd love to host you guys.
We should come visit you guys. It'd be incredible. I love the river that runs right there by the university,
it's beautiful.
or whatever that is. Like beautiful stream with all the trout in it and everything. Anyways, Raphael fought there, and we went up there.
Cool.
We went on nature walks before his fight every day on fight week, and it was incredible.
That's awesome.
It's just awesome. Easy to access the foothills and trails. And, we've got a ski mountain that we drive up to, during ski season every Tuesday and Friday. It's 45 minutes from our house. Like, just your access is so wild. Like, not even Denver has this access. And we just, we had been up there a couple times, and, but had no idea. And just from we still love Austin. Like, Austin still has, holds our community, but to be able to truly slow down, it was a critical move that, the universe presented to us, and we left at it, it was
talking about nature, and then also shingles. Like it made me remember there was this missionary family in this village called Nyankunde, which had a vicious, massacre there. But these pilots that lived there, the woman had dealt with shingles a lot, off and on over the years through all the stuff she's gone through with tropical disease. But I got shingles 3 times in the year that I was there, and then 2 times since. But the thing that she said was offsetting it was I brought with me, there was a book called Where There Are No Doctors. And so I don't know if you can look back and see if you, during that stress time where you're stress eating almonds, like raw almonds or anything like that, but that will actually set off shingles in your body if you're eating excess almonds. And then to combat it, she said, instead of taking these medications and pharmaceuticals, she would just take L-lysine or lysine. And that was the last 2 times I had shingles. I took that, and it worked so much faster than anything else. And you can also take it as a preventative. So anyone out there dealing with shingles and stuff like that. I haven't had it since I stopped eating almonds, and since I started taking lysine, I haven't had it once. And so anyways, that's just something to think about. Yeah. Or make a product and shingle free.
Or just
shingle free. Bye shingles.
Whatever it takes to de-stress, whatever path that you use to get there.
But these products kind of already are doing that.
They have made a big dent in my life on that. I mean, I'm just so much calmer, and I can feel it in my body. My physiology is better. Anxiety, it's a lot harder for me to get anxious, just because I'm resilient, mental and physical.
How old are you?
43.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of why we did it. And purpose is actually I love both products. But sleep again is hard, because you're working against someone's sleep hygiene. And if they have bad sleep hygiene, herbal products are it's real hard for those to overcome bad sleep habits.
Yeah.
And also what we found in sleep is nothing's universal. And a lot of times in herbal supplements, this is the case as well. But if our product doesn't work, don't give up. And that's why we have a 30-day, money back guarantee, because we only want this to be in people's hands where it works. If it doesn't work, we'll give people their money back. But don't stop trying to. just because ours doesn't work doesn't mean that herbal combinations can't have a really big impact on you.
That's such a good attitude.
Yeah. You just got to go through them, you know, to find the one that works for you. On the energy and cognition side, there is a little bit more predictability around that. And so we have a higher success outcome with purpose. And that's it's one of our lead products. But in both of them, if you take them and have these big expectations, we hope to deliver for them. But if we don't give up, we'll issue your money back. And we're going to actually start sending people a list of other products they should maybe consider.
Oh, really?
Products that
see, that's just being a good person.
Business.
You
could write a book called Good Business.
It's just being a good person.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you know what? We really genuinely want to help you.
We definitely live in an abundance mindset. And there's some awesome people in the supplement space and wellness space that are the same. And so we would love to refer people back and forth to each other. These people share their contacts and resources that they've built up over the past couple of years. And that's that abundance mindset. We just want to impact people's health. And if that's referring somebody to another product, that we win.
What would you say to the person?
That's so good.
It is so good. That was a real face. I mean, I like that.
It was.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's endearing, both of you.
I mean, we should all be like that.
Yeah.
There's not just this much to go around. It's abundant.
So much.
The pie's getting bigger, not smaller.
There is no pie.
Oh, there you go.
There is no pie. I love that.
No pie. We've talked about this because he was like, I know this pie. I'm like, quit dividing up. There is no pie. There's just pies all around.
Yeah.
Just pie matter. We're just bathing in pie matter.
The infinite pie.
There you go. Infinite pie.
Infinite pie.
I love it.
We don't need math.
No.
I wonder, I mean, I've been a pro athlete 14 years now.
Yeah.
And people send products, say, you got to try this one. This is the next best thing. The other ones suck. This one's great. And, and for the most part, what I found personally, the stuff that you get at, Walmart or GNC, stuff like that. Some of it might be decent or okay, but a lot of stuff is just fillers and cheap and fluff, and you don't really know if it's working or not. I felt this, so this is awesome. But for the person out there that's getting like fatigue from pulling the plastic out of their wallet or the cash out and giving it over and nothing seems to work, or the only thing that they really found is that spike in energy from the caffeine or something like that. Like what would you say to that person? I mean, you already said like, keep trying, find what's going to work for you, but like for their mindset, like what should they look for and be pursuing, kind of, if that makes sense?
I mean, my 2 cents on this really quick would be, look for companies who will stand behind their mission. Look for companies who are offering a 30-day, or money back guarantee. There's so many incredible, the supplement, space is crowded, but again, abundance mindset, there's always room. And so there's so many incredible supplement companies out there now who are doing direct to consumer, not going retail channels, and kudos to Instagram on this, they'll find you, if
that's right.
Usually at some point in time, or, it's looking for those kind of brands who, they've got clinically studied ingredients in their formula, or look at what those clinically studied ingredients are and try to find, a reputable source that still has good, L-theanine. They're using good L-theanine, or, they're using these good like individual supplements in their supplement. One thing that, we like to also say is people can typically stop taking, if people are taking ashwagandha already, or they're taking GABA, or they're taking, whatever, we do therapeutic doses in our formulas. So it means that's all you need for the day. And so people can usually stop taking a couple of supplements and just take Purpose or Dream. And so if you're tired of pulling out the plastic, look for maybe some of these, multi-supplement formulas. And I think, we're seeing more and more of those hit the market. Onnit does a great job with Alpha Brain, and other brands like that, where there's a presence and they really stand behind what they're creating.
Yeah.
But in the CBD space and in the supplement space, there is currently a scenario where money correlates to the better products. And there's a lot of companies that are trying to emerge out of that. We've got some friends in the space. Alma Health is a great one, that they're trying to provide the highest quality at a real value-oriented cost, but is really expensive to deliver safe, highly effective products. And
It's just not coming off a processing plant or assembly line that's like got everything else in it. That's
cheap ingredients that, and especially in herbal ingredients, a lot of them are adulterated. So if you really don't know the brand or have faith in the brand, there's a chance that you're not getting everything that you think you're going to.
or you're getting more than what you think you're going to. I mean, there's been fighters that are tested by USADA, different things like that, and they pop hot for some sort of anabolic steroid.
What does that mean? Test positive?
Test positive. Yeah. Pop hot.
Pop hot.
Whenever
that
you
term.
test positive for steroids and they're like, I wasn't doing anything. Look at my supplements. And they give over their supplements, and literally something they bought at the store, GNC or something, a product, something from China, was they were putting anabolic steroids inside of it. And it might've been for animals, not human consumption type stuff like that.
Oh shit!
And so, I mean,
that's terrible.
Yeah, if a pro athlete says it, no one's really going to believe them, right?
Right.
But whenever they've done research into this, tested their product, and then gone to the store and bought fresh stuff off the shelf and then tested it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is contaminated, or this has this garbage in it, you know?
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful.
Very.
I mean, people. So the cost, like, you do want to make sure you're getting good quality stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put junk in your body.
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing, we definitely appeal to people who have taken supplements in the past, but there's a lot of people that don't take the type of supplement regimen that I'm on, and her. And so we did make sure that our supplements, you can feel them. If you don't feel them, you're probably not going to take our supplement over and over again. And so we wanted to make sure that you could feel them. Again, when we're doing the good things for your body, you get the feelings from that. You feel the calmness when you take Dream.
Mm-hmm.
You get relaxed, and then you can get into this more restful state. With purpose, you feel mood and energy. That was important because a few years ago, when we thought we were going to be more CBD oriented, and we have moved away from that, but when we thought we were going to be more hemp oriented, so many people go out there and take CBD and they don't feel the benefit. Yeah. However, CBD is in my opinion almost as good as some of the multivitamins out there, because it is activating a system in your body that makes all the communication systems work better. And so if you do that, then when you go and eat a good meal, you're going to utilize those nutrients better. The supplements that you take, they'll work better. And that was one of our original theses, is if we put really good cannabinoids with a lot of other good ingredients, would they help each other work better? And we feel that are getting that. Obviously, anecdotally, we haven't gone to clinical studies yet, but the results that we're getting from our testimonials and then from our own experiences shows that it wasn't just one ingredient. There was this combination and synergy of them.
Wow.
I've been on, every stimulant medication under the sun, Strattera, Concerta, Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin.
Is that right?
What? Yes, all of
That
it.
was too big.
Yeah. It's just like,
From like 13 to 23, they just rotated me through it.
yep. When it was my sophomore year of college, because I was wanting to go to law school. And so I went to my doctor and I was like, there's no way I can maintain my course load. I don't have the attention span. My doctor looked and he's like, I'm surprised you didn't come sooner, and this is a doctor I saw, my entire life, and, got my, first prescription for stimulant, and it, took that on and off for several years, but I had such adverse, reactions to it. Concerta, I broke out in hives. Clearly, that wasn't for me. When we started dating, I was taking Adderall, and it was, my mood fluctuations were all over the place. It was I was super focused, on my shit. And then I come home and I would emotionally crash. I could still, wake up and, party and be here to go to dinner or whatever. But, I would have complete meltdowns some days. And Jason just looked at me one day. He's like, I love you. Something's not working, and so I was still on and off taking Adderall up until we finished our first prototype of Purpose. And then, and I was taking maybe 5 milligrams, every couple days, or whatever.
Is that
It's
low?
really small.
Very, very low. A really
They're
low
giving me
dose.
like 30 2 times a day.
Okay.
That's what I was on in college. Like, I had an immediate release and then extended release. But Purpose, we use immediate release caffeine and extended release caffeine, which I thought was pretty brilliant. But, so we finish our prototype and I start taking Purpose and I'm just like, oh my God, this is what true, internal focus feels like. It wasn't just this like driving, kind of like energy that I would get with stimulant medication. It was like my motivation and focus got awakened from the inside. And I was taking Purpose and Dream, and it was finally like my body was restored enough to actually activate my natural energy stores, as opposed to, just taking a pill to make sure that I could accomplish what I needed to accomplish, during the day. Cause I want to achieve a lot. I've got a lot of, chutzpah, I guess, to get out there and achieve. And
What was that again?
chutzpah.
I like that.
at all costs. And, but the cost was no longer worth it. It was my relationship. It was my body. And so, Purpose radically changed my life. And we weren't getting pregnant. We've been trying to get pregnant for 6 months and we weren't getting pregnant. And then within 30 days of doing a rotation of Purpose and Dream, we got pregnant.
Wow.
It was pretty interesting. There's some interesting studies around ashwagandha and fertility.
Ashwagandha's taking off lately.
Massively.
Yeah.
If you only take one thing, that is one of the things that I highly, highly recommend everyone have part of their daily regimen.
For someone who doesn't know
High
anything
quality,
about it,
high
what
quality.
would you say?
I'm surprised you don't, because
I know some of it.
has put me on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I know some things, but
Okay.
also for the people that don't know.
Yep.
anything
Well, I
about
don't
it.
know much.
If you look, so one of the more clinically
I don't know very much.
studied
So please
ashwagandha
teach.
out there is KSM 66. It's one of the best in the world. It's used in a lot of supplement products, and it would be one of the ones I would have you recommend that you go and buy. So you can type in Amazon, or you can go to Amazon and buy supplements, which you do want to be careful. You want to buy from the branded store,
Yes.
and not a reseller when you're buying supplements on Amazon. But even if you go to
For anything on Amazon, just be careful.
Another great place to buy supplements is compounding pharmacies. They're often
that's
local.
what you were just talking about.
They're so high
Revive.
quality. Yeah.
Raised well.
They're amazing. So, but on KSM, some awesome things, again, cortisol reduction. And there are some things that do that, but ashwagandha is so good for helping with stress and cortisol reduction. Probably as a byproduct of that, but also there's a lot of sexual health associated with it. Men get
Everybody's like sexual health.
Men can get increased testosterone from it. It's just got all these there's reproductive studies that women have become more fertile when they're taking ashwagandha. There's mind and cognitive things that are associated with it. It's one of the more well-rounded herbs that you can take. But again, it's got to be the clinical amount. So whenever you look at supplements, go and see what the clinical studies are and what amount that is. Because that is an old trick in the book, is to say, we're going to use ashwagandha, but the amount that you're supposed to use is 300 and they use 100. We can't expect to get the result, from that. So that's always a big thing. If you've got a supplement company, make sure you're using the therapeutic amounts. And that was a brand promise that we had, is we would not shortcut the amounts of product that were in there, not for profit. We wanted to use what the clinical study amount was. Anyway, those are a few of the benefits. That they've got like a 2-page sheet. I would have to send you, and I haven't memorized it, but it's just like jaw dropping. Like, that is like the utility knife of herbs. And there's a few that do it that well. Yeah. But
the Swiss Army knife.
Since we've had shingles, just to even prevent something like that, and ashwagandha, for me, makes me a more resilient person. And with all the chaos that's been going on lately, to have some of that resilience so that we can center ourselves and ground and make really good decisions is helpful. And that herb's good for that.
Good. So you did start this at exactly the right time. The real need. You're like, yeah, right.
We did. And we thought that too. And it's just been interesting getting our message out there.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting time doing that. But, it's people like you who have been so supportive, after you tried Purpose and your experience with it, and it's just, it's
I love it.
I'm so happy. You love
Yeah, I
it.
love it.
So happy to hear that.
I'm out right now and I'm not happy about that. I'm
We
gonna
can
have
fix
to-
You
that.
were supposed to
I've
be
gotta-
sent some
I
more.
know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Okay,
sure it's in the mail.
I'm going to
sure
check
it's in
your
the mail.
tracking number as soon as I walk out of here. Because it should have been
No,
here.
I just need to order it too. So, which of
Wow.
course we have a discount code Amy,
You
for
do?
20% off. Yeah, for people's first order. So
What is that
do?
discount code?
it's Amy.
Amy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, so I'd encourage people to go to sovereignty.co and use that. And I feel like we're kind of wrapping up a little bit. And I want to open it up to you guys to share anything else that you're feeling before we go today.
When we were talking a little bit earlier about things that were really important to our relationship, I just wanted to throw something out. She was talking about an exercise that we use, but it's the overarching concept of vulnerability. I was not a vulnerable person. I wasn't modeled that when I was a kid. And as an adult, I just kind of took that with me, really kept everything inside. And as I've been doing all this personal growth work, vulnerability has been one of the most amazing ways to authentically to connect with people. And then the biggest fear about not being vulnerable that I experienced, and people share the same thing with me, is if I'm vulnerable, then someone's not going to like me. And uniquely enough, I have found the complete opposite. And I've never had vulnerability kick me in the ass. It has always been a better outcome than I ever expected. So it's certainly in relationships, but intimate ones and even just any type of relationship can really benefit from that. And I use it in business, and it sets people back every now and then. But then they're like, I'm really glad you went there. And, I wanted to share something with you. And we have this new deep connection with each other. So I do encourage people and men in general, have a little bit of tougher time with that. So it's whenever I'm chatting with friends and they're like, oh, give us a tip. I'm like, just be vulnerable. Like, just really embrace being vulnerable. And it's hard. It is. It's like public speaking at times for me to really step in there when you're feeling it. But that 3 times, if it comes up 3 times, that's a great time to be vulnerable. That's like the something flashing in your face. So
Yeah, because it doesn't always have to be about your partner or something. It can be something just like, I feel like this,
So anyway, I've been carrying that with me through the talk, and I just wanted to throw it back out there.
I'm so glad you did, because it's so important. And we tend to forget it, and it's a practice just like everything else.
Totally.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But when you feel like you're holding back, even I'd say in business, it's so cool to do too. And just like, let it out there. And I mean, without fail, people come back to you and they go, they want to meet with you one-on-one and go, oh my gosh, that spoke to me. Thank you for saying that. I was feeling that, whatever it is, or I've been through that.
Yeah, I find it as a tool. It'll either deepen the relationship, or it will show you that the relationship probably didn't serve one or the other person. And those are really awesome places to be. Then for us, so that's what we try to do is have real rich, fulfilling relationships. And that tool helps us a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Beautiful.
I have a question. Because of Jones, your child, and you're raising Jones up, and simultaneously you're raising sovereignty up, what is a goal or a hope, intention that you have while either raising up sovereignty or Jones, or something that kind of correlates? Like, we want to raise, this is how we want to be. This is the intention. I don't know if that makes sense, but I
think it does.
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying it's like we birthed 2 babies at the same time.
You did.
Yeah.
Because we did. We really did. And I think, just very simply, it's we want to make the world and leave the world a better place. And encourage other people to do the same and to chase your dreams, and we really created these products so that people felt more empowered to do that.
Leap in the net will appear.
Leap in the net will appear. Yeah, exactly.
I want to high five that.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, anything else? Is there anything that you wanted to share before we go?
I love that question. No, and I think what Jason said, I couldn't agree with more.
Well, y'all did. You got out here. I mean, you share about other people's businesses if it means leveling up other people. And I think that's so empowering and just such a good example to set. So let's keep at it.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why we're here.
Yeah. One thing I will say is it's not easy to be in business with your spouse.
I meant to ask about that. I meant to ask, but you guys have been in counseling. You've done so much work. It seems like you've set yourself up for pretty good.
We have. And, I think the term got thrown out earlier of, a prophylactic, kind of approach to your relationship, and, to your business and doing the work, and just being able to do it together. And, I think the key to all of that is vulnerability. Where both partners are willing to be vulnerable, to do the work together. And from that, even running a business while raising a newborn together makes it all completely possible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with so many stories.
Oh, yeah.
that you already have. Building a lot more. So.
Yes, totally.
Yes. Well, thank you so much to Jason and Amanda Crawford. I'm so glad you guys came today and made time for this. And I'm honored to have you and share your light and what you're doing and what you're putting out there, because that's what this is all about. It's about making everything better. Most efficiently.
Yes.
And this is efficient. And I love that. So
that's my word of the year, by the way.
Is it really?
You. Can we high five for that too?
Yes. Hell yeah.
Manifesting.
It's efficiency. And that's a good one with a baby.
Yeah. That's it. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. This is
Thank you.
And love hearing your stories and sharing.
I loved hearing everything
awesome.
from you guys. No, that was a real gift. And can you just share really quick how everybody can find you? I've got them written down here too, but
yes. Everyone can find us at sovereignty.co. It's SOVEREIGNTY.co. We also maybe have, is sov.live available now? Live.
Yeah, live. Excuse me.
Live. Mm-hmm. But we also have shortened it to make it easier. And so now you can also go to sov.live. And you can also find our website.
Sov.live.
Sov.live.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. And then we're also on Instagram at sovereignty_US. And, I thank you just so much again. This is great.
Yes. And both of them are available also at JA Crawford 2000 and AM. What do you say? AM _wild_woman.
That's me.
I love your handle.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Jason, didn't seem like this was your first podcast at all, my man.
You did
great. Both of y'all.
Thank you.
Be vulnerable. How are you feeling?
Better.
That's good. Better.
Y'all reminded me to, just have a conversation, and y'all were so easy to have a conversation with.
Totally.
And just starting to hear your stories, that inspiration knocked any of the, jitters out. So thank y'all for being amazing people to sit in front of and
thank
start
you
this
for
with.
being amazing.
Yeah, I didn't see a single jitter, not a one. So thank you so much, you guys. And of course, I'll be putting that on the show notes too, so everybody can find you very easily. And I just want to just say the utmost gratitude for being here and for what you're doing in the world. Badass.
Too.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Huge thanks to Amanda and Jason for being here today. Oh my gosh. I love how they're living their life and conducting their business and stuff. I find that extremely inspiring. So be sure to check out Sovereignty. Did you love it, babe?
I loved them.
I loved them too.
I loved the conversation.
Because you came in pretty cold today. You really didn't know what to expect.
I tried the product a few times and I liked it.
Right.
But I didn't know their story. I didn't know the backstory of y'all knowing each other. I think you mentioned it. But I wanted to come in fresh and, just put on a learner's cap and learn what inspired all this.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to understand or get to learn that they've taken a risk together. That is good inspiration for me as we branch out together as well. I've gotten to support your podcast. You're going to be co-producing my podcast, and that they did this together, like she left her job in LA. He left his job. They did it together.
They leapt and the net will appear.
The net appeared.
We need to put that up somewhere.
Yeah. High five it as we go by. Just walk downstairs.
I'll high five you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And anyway, I just am really grateful to them. And you can tell they're so intentional and they really put good shit into what they're doing. And I love that so much.
I think intention was probably one of my biggest takeaways because I can be really intentional whenever there's something circled on a calendar, like a date or like a fight date, fight night. Like I got that circled. This is my day. Okay. I'm intentional. And that lights a fire under me.
Yeah.
But why not take that into every day. Every
well,
moment.
you'll take it into some things when you're thinking about it, but that's
true.
the trick, is like cultivating a practice to where we're thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
And like I said about these shows, like I forget, even now, I'll still forget sometimes. Thank God I have like a little bowl with a reminder. Oh yeah. So I just want to cultivate that practice more. And
we're
so
very good at being present. I think that's why people like listening to your show.
Thank
Please
you.
like and share and subscribe to this. Go give beautiful
Thank you,
Amy
honey.
Edwards
Thank you.
a review.
Yes, actually,
Honest
please
review,
do.
a 5-star review. I bet there's a
rate, review, subscribe. Well, not right now, but there will be more giveaways for sure.
Cool. Stay tuned to those. What was one of your biggest takeaways?
I think it was that intentionality. And I loved that they are so strong in that. And I also liked that they work together and are a couple, and that they're huge proponents, because we've talked about being preventative with your health and, all the things that we can do that, like with the episode with Brigham with Ways to Well. But and we talk a lot about that, but they talked about it in a relationship context too. And, we'll do it with ourselves, but are people doing that in their relationships? And I think that that's a really cool thing that they're modeling, because it can get stressful if you're with your partner all the time working, is what I hear. I've never experienced it, but
so I meant to tell you while they were here.
Okay.
Our date night is tonight, right?
It is. Mm-hmm.
And we talked about float tanks on here. We're going to go do a float tank.
We are.
One, but
a group float tank.
Yeah, well, I mean, a partner float tank. You and me. You and me will be naked in salt water together. So probably no hanky-panky type stuff in the salt water. But I thought that would be really cool. I mean, Purpose is there at the house on the doorstep. She checked the whatever the
so I'm not out
number.
anymore. Mm-hmm.
So we could take that and go to a float.
Sweet.
It's not till 8 p.m. So we can go do something beforehand.
Great.
And we'll get an hour.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
thank you, honey.
That'd be good. I know we tried it once, and I thought we'd do a redemption float because the water was a little too cold. We couldn't hear the music.
I do not like being cold for a long period of time.
It should be much better.
Well, good. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate that. I'm excited.
Yeah,
thank you for the surprise. Thanks. And so, one of the things that they were talking about with Purpose, like after we wrapped up, was that there are it's really good for people that want to microdose, but maybe aren't comfortable yet with microdosing, or maybe it's not legal or whatever it is, so it can give you a really bright, shiny perspective on life and really elevate how you feel, just not even doing anything. Cause I talk about how, it's good for your to-do list and workouts and all that, but actually it's also good from a microdosing perspective because it has so much good stuff in it. So anyway, really cool. So I'll report back on that for sure about what happens.
I mean, I'm just, my one take on it is today's a good day for me to try that for the first time, Purpose, because I'm a little tired from sparring yesterday, different stuff like that, and being able to go into a float tank, a sensory deprivation tank, and being able to really just tune in. What is this doing to my body? What is this doing to me mentally? How's my focus? If I go in with an intention, could I focus on it better and all that? So I'm excited to try it for the first time.
Cool. Me too.
Yeah.
Cool. Me too. Well, thanks, honey. Thanks for being here today, doing this with us.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful. I love you too.
I'm over the moon with us.
I'm grateful that you were here, and big thanks to our team at Hot Pie Media. Of course, we had Sarah and Colton in today working on this show. So thank you to them and everyone here. So grateful, and just so grateful to Amanda and Jason and all that they brought to today's show, and that they bring to life and to their humanity and to everyone that they touch. And I mean, if you think about these products, they are legit infused with good stuff. I mean, and that means a lot nowadays. That means a lot anytime.
Yeah.
So yes. Business stuff. Sign up for the newsletter and the 1 Minute Mondays at amyedwards.com. And of course, rate, review, subscribe.
1 Minute Mondays. What are those?
It's a new email that comes out every Monday with just a quick quote and just a little blurb from me, just a quote that I love and just something to kickstart your day and your week on a good note, because we can't get enough of that.
Yes. And I know this sounds like a plug, and maybe it is partly, but where do I go to do that?
You go to amyedwards.com.
Okay, great.
Easy enough.
Just put my email in.
Mm-hmm.
think I might already be subscribed to it, but that's on my old email. I need
Well,
to do
if
it
you
on my
checked
new
your
email.
emails ever, then you would know.
No, my new email I do. And so I'm just going to update it today.
There you go. There you go. Thank you. And of
You
course,
should, too.
speaking of emails, you can email me too. I'm at amy@amyedwards.com, or reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at Real Amy Edwards. And of course, Justin here is at The Big Pygmy if you want to.
PYGMY. But go check out Amy's last post or one of them, or scroll
I'll
back a
have
little
posted
bit.
more by the time this comes
Right,
out. But
right.
thank you, honey.
But,
the one that you read today.
Yeah,
You read
that
it
was
today
on my
during
social too.
during the conversation. Yeah, you did.
it
Thank
was
you so
really,
much
really
for
good.
lifting that up. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here, because you should thank yourself, because you're doing something for yourself. We all are.
So good.
You're doing so good. You're doing so good. We're here to tell you, yes, you are. And I love you. And I am just wishing you all the good things. Thanks again to Amanda and Jason. And just remember, get intentional. See if you can set a practice around that, because it's a really beautiful thing. So here's to you, and wishing you love and light and health and wealth and peace and joy and abundance and more health and more wealth and love and all the good stuff to you. Till next
You're
time.
a really beautiful.
Thank you. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this show, please rate and review. It totally matters. And I encourage you to spread the love too, and share this episode with a friend if you feel called. Find me and my newsletter sign up at amyedwards.com. And you can also connect with me on Instagram at realamyedwards, or in Clubhouse at Amy Edwards, or write to me. It's amy@amyedwards.com.